The producers and the creators were trying to bring together a cast that worked. It wasn't like they needed to tick boxes. They were looking for people that could play the characters and they were gonna bring something to the ensemble.
Mythic Quest. This is one of my favourite shows on television right now, and it's an absolute pleasure to be speaking with all of you. One of my favourite things about this show is its huge focus on ensemble, and in this season particularly, every character really gets a brand new spotlight. We get to explore the characters in whole different ways. There's these great stories of self-discovery, characters making changes, characters, you know, debating about where they belong in life and finding their place in life. I think it's just such a beautiful tapestry of stories. How has it been for you to all explore your characters in these new ways and be able to tell these stories?
It's so exciting. With our show, we kind of just blow up storylines and we don't really reset anything. We just throw a new
scenario
at the wall and,
the characters.
And see what happens. And so each season, it's like you're forming a new character. For me, especially because Dana started as a game tester and now she's, you know, moving into the coding space, which is really exciting, and my character work just looks so different, and also her personality is really blooming because she's starting to step into who she is and really zone in on what she wants.
Yeah, we really get to see the characters grow and change, sometimes for the better, sometimes maybe not so much for the better, but that's fun to watch as well.
Yeah, I think it's fun for me to question, why does Brad enter any relationship? What does he want? What is he trying to monetize? And why would anybody be willing to actually put themselves near Brad? And I think there's this, I guess, mutual love of chaos maybe that we have. But also I think we've all now, it's season 3, seen each other at some serious lows. Brad's coming out of prison. So there's a vulnerability now that we have with each other that allows even more comedy to come out.
Oh, it was fun. It was fun. It's fun to, you know, try to coax out some new angles. I mean, it's still, you know, my character's still David Brittlesby, of course, but with a little bit more power. So you get to, you know, you get to drop each character in a slightly different situation. We got Ian and Poppy in a completely new work environment. They've broken off. They're on their own. We have a whole new set and look for their office, and we get to see how they are together alone in this limbo type, you know, white space of a office they've created. And we have a lot of. I think David has a lot of hope in the beginning of the season to have some real achievements.
Yeah, it's been so gratifying. I think, you know, our show really is about the ensemble, and it's really great to be able to highlight everyone. And this season in particular, I think I've gotten to learn more about Rachel, and I feel like we're getting to see different sides of her. And she has a lot of inner conflict in this season, which is really fun. And then also as someone that just likes the show, getting to watch things back and see everyone get to shine in different ways is so nice. I mean, all of our cast members are so good. And we haven't even talked about Naomi today, but Naomi is Carol.
Carol is having a moment in season 3. She has really run into her own. We get to see what Carol's like in therapy, finally.
But it's so nice for her to, you know, get that spotlight that Naomi so much deserves because she's hilarious.
It's been really exciting. It's so fun to see Carol, you know, the first 2 seasons, we're seeing her a lot of times being the therapist of the office. And suddenly she's supposed to be in charge of some stuff. And I think she might even prefer being a therapist. You know what I mean? Once she gets that power, she's like, let's go back to when you all told me your business.
And I also loved getting to see the softer side of Joe.
Yes, the soft underbelly that is the Toro of Joe. That was very fun. I love seeing the softer side of Joe. The intensity isn't gone. It's just a little bit more in reserve. You know, she's not working on as intense of projects. It's hard to bring quite so much chaos to a cup of tea, but she still finds her way. These kinds of things are really fun to play, and it was a joy getting to shoot this season.
Yeah, and again, what I love about this show is its incredible balance between comedy and tragedy. And with that tragedy, there's always like a spark of hope at the end. I just love stories like this, and I think you do it better than just about any other show I've ever seen.
Wow, thank you. That's
You are
huge.
both. Oh no, absolutely, and it's without a word of a lie that I say that. And you are all incredibly competent performers who can manage the comedy and can manage the drama. How do you find the balance in your performances, and is it a challenge to be able to do that?
I think it's just chemistry, really. I feel that we have a lot of trust on our set, and we just have a really great time making our show Mythic Quest. It is a comedy, but it also
It's
has
about very real people
Yeah.
as well, right?
Yes, there's a lot of humility and humanity in these characters, and they're all very flawed.
Yes.
And
I think in order, I mean, it's that age-old thing of to make comedy work, you have to commit. Like, you have to allow yourself to be vulnerable if you want to get a laugh. And I do think that then translates into some of the more difficult moments that our characters experience, in the same way that something that makes Poppy so funny is that when she's mad, she's flailing all over the place. Something that makes her so tragic is that when she's feeling sadness, she can't really keep it inside of her,
I think the best way to balance it is to play as real as possible, meaning what would an actual person do in this situation? What would an actual toxic person do in this toxic office situation? That's, I think, what it is. And I think that really, right, the comedy then gets to, I think it's even more funny because of the more serious moments, right? You have something to sort of butt up against, and you realize, it gives you a greater appreciation for both sides, I think.
Well, I think people want to see accessible stories that they can connect with. So no matter whether you're in a video game workplace or a workplace that, produces paper, I think we always try to tell stories. They're going to have their own tone, right? You're going to have jokes. They're going to be funny for our particular show. But behind it is characters driven from an honest place, hopefully. And that will bring out honest dynamics. And, we try to explore the creative process and what it is to be a partner to someone and to fight against your nature and all those things. And ultimately just tackling issues that we all deal with, no matter what workplace or space you come from.
Absolutely. And look, talking about, real characters, this show has such a beautifully diverse cast. And again, one of my favorite things about it, there are more lead female characters in this show than male characters. And we all know how rare that is. I mean, things are getting better, but it has been very, very rare. There is an incredible representation of different cultures and ethnicities, orientations and social statuses, but it's all just so beautifully organic and it feels real. What has it been like for you to be involved in such a beautiful, beautiful screen platform for inclusion and representation?
It feels amazing. And honestly, I think that you used a great word, organic, because my experience with casting, and I don't know if you felt the same way, is that it really did feel like the producers and the creators were trying to bring together a cast that worked. It wasn't like they needed to tick boxes. It wasn't like they were looking for this or that. They were looking for people that could play the characters and they were going to bring something to the ensemble. And then the beautiful thing that's happened with the show after the point is that the writers have really delved into the specificities of all of our identities. So Poppy was not originally written as a Filipina Australian woman, but throughout the show, we've got to explore what it means for her to have that identity as the person that she is in the space that she's in, which is, I think, what makes for such great storytelling.
It's been really lovely. I mean, I think the big thing about our show is that we really do try to show this world, the games industry, for what it is. And I really do think that that level of diversity in all the ways that you mentioned is true to the games industry. And I think a lot of people don't see the games industry that way. They kind of think it's a boys' club. But, so many of my closest game dev friends are trans women, they're people of color, and it's so nice to be part of a show that makes a point of making that a priority. And also, the other great thing is that we just hired the best people for the roles as well, So I think, a lot of people will tell us, it's such a diverse show, but it doesn't feel like it's shoved in. It's like, well, because everyone's great. Everyone's, really great in their roles. And that's, the priority is to make a good show and to make an authentic show. And I think we've been able to do that.
I mean, I rarely, if ever, saw myself represented on screen as a child. So to be able to do that, but also be on a show where it's organic, And that feels great. Just to be able to have this platform and share and be able to connect with people and hopefully inspire the next generation is awesome. Yeah, it's fun to be part of a show where it's organically done.
Y'all are all cray-cray, but nay-nay.